evaluation is really just about talking about the impact of your work, and you're doing it all the time. Every time that you think at the end of a session that you've done with a group, or a period of time that you've spent on your project, I'm sure you're all evaluators in your head. It's a natural process to go, how are we doing? How did I do? Are we getting there? You're also thinking about the people that you're working with, and you might call that your community. Are you being accountable to your participants, the people who are funding you, the people whose community you're working in? You're checking that out as well. And you're also very aware that if you get that correct, you've got to get it right before. That's going to be called giving feedback, either formally or informally, to funders. And so you're always thinking about that too. And while you're going along with your project, gathering this kind of sense of how are things going, listening, looking, maybe writing a few notes down, you're planning for the future. These are natural steps in applications for evaluation. If you have a plan, these four things become just a little bit easier. The journey map is an art-based evaluation technique, and you can use that at different points along the way. You can use it with the beginning with a group to say, draw for me what you anticipate this project will be for you, or draw for me where you think you want to go in this. And then you can come back and have them draw another one partway through, depending on how long your project is. And then you can do a third one at the end to say, how was it? And so that what you're setting there is some comparison. Because often at the end, everyone feels, yeah, I did it, and it's all really positive, and they forget the hard parts or the struggles. So if you do it along the way, you might have some frustration coming out, and that's okay. And that's good for you to know as well as people running projects to know. So you can do this kind of activity with participants at different stages and collect them, and then give them back to them for reflection at the end, which might be quite interesting. Everybody around evaluation talks about stakeholders, and it just means who has a stake in this? Who cares? Who is interested in what's happening? Who's invested? One of the stakeholders is you. And you have a role in the project, and often as a group leader, you have a very important place, and you have to think of yourself as a stakeholder. You care about the outcome. Then there's the people you're working with, and then there's the larger organization. So in the group would be participants. This says self, this says organization and group. Then all of that sits within a larger community, either geographic or ethno-social or political. And then there's the larger forces that care. Could be funders, but it also could be the media, it could be any number of different groups that are taking a note of what you're doing. In an evaluation, your evaluation can ripple out and take in all of these aspects, depending on your resources. Maybe your project will only deal with your own self and reflection and the participants. Maybe you'll go beyond that to the community. Again, it depends on your resources and time. Often people think of evaluation as the activity, as or what a journey map is a methodology. It's not evaluation. It's not evaluation until you've figured out your desired outcomes, assessed your resources in order to put a plan in place. You've developed your key questions that you want to know about. You've come up with a collective strategy, and under collective strategy, it's like, what will we do to figure this out? And then it's evaluation when you analyze it. When somebody has to look at that information and come to some sort of conclusion, there has to be some analysis, and then that has to be shared. That's what makes it an evaluation plan. The benefits of art-based evaluation is about staying in a place of imagination, staying in the language of creativity, staying in the language of metaphor, being able to compare something drawings, making something as an image, or it's like this, or it reminds me of this, or picking a color. You could have people do something as simple as choose a color to show how you're feeling about the project today. There can be safety in doing an image that words are not safe for some people. And it's evocative. Images, sounds, those very quick sculptures you guys did are very powerful. They were evocative. When you bring creativity into evaluation, this is what you have going for you: imagination, metaphor, safety, and an evocative image.